Hello and welcome to the Skeptic Show's special segment called Talk with Gen Z. And our today's guest, Ritika, you might already be familiar with her. We've had her on our show where we talked about religion. Today's segment hopefully will be less serious and more fun. So, hello Ritika, how are you doing?
Thank you, Anamay. I'm fine. I'm really fine and just had our lunch, so full energetic.
So, the last time we had our college mate, we started with the question, why did you choose BCA? So, I think we'll throw the same question to you.
That's a question I've been asking myself for a very long time. Um, initially, I was really confused after my KCP examination and all, but then I thought that computers and technology is the future, and that's bet on the future, and that's why I chose BCM. No idea why I chose presidency. I have no idea. But yes, and also a lot of there's this creativity in technology which people don't recognize, and to be really frank, I have still to be discovering that. But I find that technology has a lot of you know opportunities for us to create and to be innovative and just work on our imagination. So yes, that's the sole reason.
Well, I think that would be kind of unique answer. People wouldn't usually say that creativity would be their first reason to join BCA, because when we just think about it, it seems so far away, creativity from BCA. And also the students, they make it seem so. So, what are your hobbies and interests other than BCA and other than college? What do you do in your free time?
Mostly sleep, because presidency and then coming to college, it's draining. It drains out all the energy in you. But I like to explore a lot of new topics. Recently, I was seeing this video about linguistics, and it was about how do we, how do we describe a gender in different languages. And interestingly, Malayalam does not have any gender for verbs. It's not a grammatically gender stereotyped language. So yeah, English actually it isn't, right? Because when I say ek ladka gir gaya, we're using gaya there, and then ladki gir gayi, and we're changing the verb form for according to the gender. But Malayalam does not have it. And Bengali and Odia doesn't even have pronouns. So for them, it's like everyone is equal. And I forgot the name of the language. It just classifies humans and non-humans for the verb forms. So it really allows you to see that how languages, how the culture and languages shape our thinking, our on any aspects. So I like to explore that, and sometimes I read books and series because of lockdown. Yeah.
I think I might know this video. Is it from the channel called India in Pixels? It has been on my YouTube homepage for a long time. I want to watch it. I think it's called How Language Shapes Gender. Yeah, so yeah, I'll probably watch it. And yeah, I do agree with what you said about language, because language is the tool that we use to build civilizations. It's not possible without language, and that is the main, weapon that we have. And yeah, languages shape our culture, they shape our way of thinking, and it affects how a society will, mold into. So, enough of serious talk. Let's get back to our college. Well, how is your college life going, and where are your studies and other extracurricular activities, your friends, and everything?
Like, I guess our college life is a meme of reality and expectations. Because I don't know, like college in the sense when we were kids and we used to see these sisters and brothers, elder sisters, they used to go to college and they would say all their stories, and we would be fascinated by the world which we are going to be exposed to. And now you realize is the exterior of that life, how much of a fascinating it looks. the interior thoughts, the maturity that comes in your thoughts, that's what adulting is. And college is definitely teaching me that the interior thought models, the changing in behaviors of people and mine with other people as well. And I think college, yeah, that's, and 1 year of online classes. I have no idea how can I say this 1 month of college life would be. It was good. We had a change of sections. I met new people. Yes, it's been good till now. Let's see how it goes.
Well, this is a very different answer than what we received last time. So I guess it's different for everybody. Everybody has a very different experience in college, and you get to meet new people, you get to learn from them, and also when you this has happened with me, like a behavior that I would consider inappropriate but would not recognize when I do that, but when I would see it in other people, I would get to know that they're being jerks, but then I would remember that I have done something similar. But when you see it on other people doing it, you recognize that, oh, maybe I did something similar and I'm being hypocritical judging them. So that is also a kind of experience that you get in college, seeing your peers. So college, and
Actually, I remembered something. One of my teacher, chemistry teacher, he was like giving us life lessons, and he just said one line which sticks to me till now, that when you're 18, you're 19 or 20, you think you have the best of character, you're a good person or you're a bad person. Anyway, you are not. You're not anything. You're just a blank canvas. When you turn 30, and if you can still state that you are this kind of person, that's the character you've been molded. Because I think this stage is very volatile. We are exploring new things. We are needing new people. When see, explore isn't always adventurous. It's sometimes subtle. It's just that one day of class you're sitting and you realize that there's so much more that you wanted to do, but it's not happening, and maybe it is because of you're like this, or people are like this and all that. And I feel experience doesn't need to have adventures in them. It can be very simple. It can be just one day staring at a wall, and then you everything falls in place, and then it's a chaos again. I feel when we as a person judge others, or even just form opinions, judgment is a big term, but when we form opinions, we consider it as a very binary way, good or bad. There's so much more. Like maybe the person is being like that to just hide a little other things, or actually he's hiding other things, that's why he's looking like that, or maybe like that. And I feel in retrospect, I've done a lot of things which might have, for other people, it might have felt like this is not appropriate behavior, but I wasn't in the state of mind to give out my energy to anyone else to form conversations or etc. And I think we need to respect that boundaries that everyone has. We verbally say it, we respect it, but when things happen like this, it's a total different story. So I guess that's something I've learned throughout the college life. Like I'm still learning, processing it. Yeah, that's a thought I wanted to put.
what you said about 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds thinking that they are the best they ever will be, I think I have also experienced that, but I'm 21, and most of my peers are not. They're younger to me, 19 probably, and I look at them and they seem so different. And it just goes on to show that when you are in your teens, you change so rapidly that just 1 year ago you would see yourself as a completely different person. And this just, I think, makes me understand that if this much change has happened in the last 2 years, then who knows what will happen the next 2 or next 3 or next 5 years. So this idea of you're the best, or you will never outdo yourself, this idea shatters during these times, when you introspect yourself, obviously. So we know that you're a voracious reader. You do read a lot, and we have talked about it a lot, even in the last
Yeah.
podcast that we did, we talked about books. So what books are you currently reading, and like what are your favorite books, and about what do you like, what are your kind of books?
So I began with Little Woman. That was a school project. So we had to read it and write the summary, and that's when I got started with reading. And my idea of reading was just because at the time television and OTT did not really have a lot of good content out there. So I wanted that. I was craving for that, and I found it. And I was really, really thrilled with the amount of stories I can read now, and I can get to know characters. And then I started with fantasy fiction, which was just an element of imagination. And I felt that all of us just need that magic in our life. And yes, and I guess that's when I got really interested in books. Then I shifted to mythological fiction, and I really liked it because I feel every story has a retelling story. Like when we say a story to someone, it's with the emotions which we carry out the story that we pass on to others. If I say you the story of the tortoise and the hare, you might be feeling bad for the hare, that even though he was fast, he did not win, because you might be the person who likes to sleep and you would be resonating with the character. So maybe when you pass on the story, it would be different. And I think the retelling of the stories, like mythological fiction, it's beautiful because it brings out a different perspective on how people saw those ideas, and how they conceive and apply to their lives. Currently, I'm reading a lot of subtle fiction books. I'm reading Punachi. It's by a Tamil author, and it's a very beautiful book about a small black goat who was abandoned, and a family takes them in. They're poor, but they still feel that if someone has betrothed that to her, then someone would come back and they would ask, why didn't you take care of that goat? And with that moral idea, they take in the goat, and then she faces a lot of discrimination because she is not the family of the other goats. And the way that we have shown discrimination and that feeling of loneliness, it's very beautiful, and it's not even preachy. So I really like those kind of concepts, and where ideas are being expressed in forms of emotions, not speeches, because I feel speeches have a very dominating essence. It's like you have to agree to what I'm saying, but not with the feeling or going through the process of that loneliness which the book has beautifully expressed. So yes, that's those kind of books are what I'm currently reading. We don't see the real essence, and I guess when I say this, even I don't. I mean, there's so much of facts that we don't know, and that idea of how the real life is going to be like, how difficult it is going to be like, it's very, very far away from our generation. And sometimes I feel that I have a huge generation gap with my own generation. That's a different story altogether. But yes, that's like if you read a lot of fiction which is written during like 18th or 19th century, you realize that the way the people used to process ideas and life in general was so different in how we do it, and how having a mobile or having that access to knowledge is changed the way we see the world. And we don't realize until you see how people used to think in the past, like how we were discussing in the class today. It's that we have to think how they used to think, and what atmosphere, what exposure they'd had. And I think that story brings out really beautifully that all they have is dreams, and they are really striving for it, not just dreaming about it. So yes, that's one thing which I've carried on with that book, is that when you have a dream, strive for it, do not just dream about it.
Yeah, the concept of generation gap, I think in today's world we should not be using that, because the availability of knowledge and wisdom is it's just so much today. So there's no generation gap now. It's just that a person can relate to or can feel alienated in a group of people of the same age or people of different ages. So the age, I think, doesn't really matter now. It's your perception and what you choose to do, and the resources that you get
And you use.
and you use. Yeah. So we talked about one form of entertainment, one media. Let's go to another very hugely popular media nowadays, which is television and the big screen. So, what kind of shows or movies do you like to watch, and what appeals to you, and what are you currently watching?
So I am currently watching The Spanish Princess just for the sake of history and the costumes. But I really liked the series called Anne with an E. It's yeah, that's sad because the story just abruptly gets yeah. But that is such a great show because if you see the way Anne talks in the first season, it's like if she finds any person, she just talks with her, and when you see it's because maybe she was lonely and she never had anyone to actually listen to her. So always she strived to make conversation and make friends. And then you see this in the third season, you see her not talking that much, only when she's too moody or like that. But you see, the story has a very beautiful way of how we develop and how at certain points we just the longest wishes we had, like how she wanted her hair to turn from orange to blonde or something, and then she just realizes that she doesn't need it anymore. She's happy with who she is, and that's a very beautiful story, beautiful characters. I really loved it. But I also like a lot of like Peaky Blinders and Dark, Stranger Things, all these child dramas or whatever you call it. But they have really complicated storylines, and I really like that. And the essence of magic and escape, and actually that saving mentality that we're going to save the world or save ourselves, that is really, 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 yes, it comes to me a lot of time that it's a very beautiful concept because in the way we are making ourselves superior or the hero of at least any one story. And most of the time, actually, if you realize, if we have to make ourselves a hero or a heroine in that sense, we have to be in a life-saving moment. That's how most of the series describe it to be. And that's why I found Anne with an E different. And even Made, it's a very recent, it's a limited series. And that's just very, very Made has this concept of how easily people can get homeless, and when we have to strive for making everyday living. And even though the struggle seems everyday living, because we live in a very privileged life, we might think, okay, we can earn by this method or that. But when you don't have resources, when you don't have support, and you just have problems banging on every door, the the sane mentality that you have to carry out, and always thinking that maybe things are going to get better and clinging on that hope every time, that was a very beautiful series to watch, and I think that passed on that message very beautifully. Then what? Yes, movies. I recently watched Eternals. I'm a big Marvel fan. Yes, and I feel Marvel has this sense of comedy and like little lively way. DC has it also, dark. Yes, DC is dark because it doesn't have that subtle comedy in it, but Marvel does it, and I feel that's yeah. Eternals was really awesome. It's a new phase of Marvel, and I really like the way the stories are going to go on. And I don't want to give a spoiler, but I'm striving, like I'm controlling myself to not give a spoiler to anyone who has not watched it. Please watch it and watch the extended versions of it also. Yes.
About Eternals, actually, when the news came out last year, and the I think teaser something came out, I was so stoked to watch this because it has the cast. Oh my god, it probably the best cast of any film, and that too, a film that is made on such a huge. It's such a huge scale. And also the director, she won the Academy Award this year for best directing Chloe Zhao. But people have not been giving it good reviews, the general audience. But then I think it is because it is not a typical Marvel film and it does not cater to the superhero.
It's a whole different world
Yeah.
as such. So you are not seeing Iron Man and Peter Parker saving the world, but it's very different. And we have Spiderman coming again. So yes, if you were complaining about Eternals, go watch Spiderman. But I think it's a very different world. And the thing is, not many of us knew about Eternals in general, because we were exposed to Thor, we were exposed to if you are exposed to any of the other Avengers, you kind of go and read or explore about the others as well. But Eternals was new, and I feel that new, the sense of that we're gonna have a new world, we're gonna have new characters. I think we are very used to what we are used to because we don't want to change, and I feel that's why the reason. But I feel the sound, the visuals, and I saw it in theater, so it was just very marvelous. We were thinking about it after a week, me and my friend, and we were like, we have to watch it again because it feels so realistic and so beautiful. And the characters are also very strong-willed also. It's not that they have just been hopped on this thing to save the world, and it's their desire to save the world, but they have very different ideas of what saving the world means. And I think that was really different and new.
As we got to know, you have always lived in Bangalore, but you're not, a native Bangalorean. You're from Haryana. So, do you keep visiting Haryana? And obviously, there will be huge differences. So, let's talk about that for a while.
So I visit Haryana after whenever we finish our exams, any holidays we get. Mostly when my dad also gets holidays at the same time. Um, the thing is, when you've lived so long in a place, it's very difficult to find the differences out of it. But I feel, yes, first of all, it's a metropolitan city, so that's a very major difference that you see in when you live. When go to my native, there are metropolitan cities in Haryana as well, Gurgaon and all that. But I live in a village, so when I go there, mostly it's like, how is a city life? And I guess that was a very common question before the internet became such a popular thing, but now everyone knows it. And I think city life is not anymore a big thing. So, yes. I think another major difference I found is the way people see life as. Because I feel a lot of people in villages also think that they have to go out and go to the cities, and because they're going to have a very different life out there. And the people who are already in cities don't feel the urge to try out a little more, because they already have those facilities, they already have those opportunities with them. So I think that's a push that villages give them, that they have to strive for more, they have to be a little more hardworking or smart in ways, because they feel that they can see the competition, and they can see the difference that that hard work can make. And Haryana in general, it has a total different culture. It's North Indian state, and mostly people say that yes, I've seen a lot of discrimination between boys and girls. I've seen that in Bangalore as well, but it's very subtle over here because it comes in ways that you have to think a lot, that what was that. But in Haryana, yes, I've seen it very openly, but I think I've been really privileged and blessed to have a family who supports me in every way. So yes, that difference is when I see other people complaining about their lives over there. And I think every village right now, even in Haryana, they're getting developed, they're seeing that ability of a person. I feel that's a very common thing in Haryana actually, because sports is a very recognized over there. And a lot of people, girls, boys, same, they go and play out there, and their ability has been recognized. So that is I think sports is one which is breaking the barriers between the genders. I've seen that because everyone is interested, and no one put barrier, because physical activity, kids have fun, they don't complain about it. And I guess and they bring medals. So no one has a problem with that. And I think because of sports in other spaces like education and living conditions and how their lives are going to be lifestyles also have been changing. Yes, and in Bangalore in general is the traffic, and but when we came to Bangalore, it was really beautiful and it was very different. It was very very different and felt like a whole new world. But I feel now it has changed into any other metropolitan city. It has lost a little bit of its touch, and that I think I can see because a lot of people who come to Bangalore now don't feel that connect with Bangalore. But because we have lived so long here, we realize the changes it has seen and the why it has seen those changes. So yes, that's it.
So we are in college, and unfortunately, we do have to attend our classes. That's enough of bunking for today. So I think we'll wrap this up. And thank you so much for coming to the show again. And it was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
And it was not so serious this time, so
Yeah.
it was fun. And hopefully, we'll see you in class.
Yes. Let's attend our exams then.